Good morning dear students of class 8. Welcome to online class from LPM Public School, Bola Bazaar, Gorakhpur. Student, I am your science teacher, Dhiren sir, DPS sir. And as you know, chapter 4, that is the materials, metals and non-metals is under process. And student, under this topic today, I am going to explain about the metals, what happens when it reacts with water, what reactions take place when the metals react with water. This is my topic today, student. So let's start. So, reaction of metal with water. Student, as you know that first of all, let me tell you that all metals do not react with water, and there are certain metals just like sodium and potassium which reacts very vigorously, whereas one example I am giving you, iron. Iron is such metal that reacts with water very slowly, but sodium and potassium is such metals that reacts very vigorously because its ignition temperature is very low. So student, metals when react with water, it form metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. Metals when reacts with water, it forms metal oxide and hydrogen gas is released. So, just for example, sodium when react with water, it forms sodium hydroxide So student, you can see here, when sodium element, metal sodium, when react with water, it forms sodium hydroxide. Means here you can see I have already given you when a metals react with water, it forms metal hydroxide, and at that moment hydrogen gas is released, escaped. So here you can see that sodium when react with water, it forms sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. So student, now my next topic is reaction of non-metal with water. Reaction of non-metal with water. Till now I have explained you about the reactions of metal with water. It forms metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas is released. Now what about when a non-metal reacts with water? So generally, most probably non-metals do not react with water. This is the fact that non-metals doesn't react with water. Generally non-metals do not react with water but are very reactive with air. though they are not non-reactive with water, these metals are non-reactive with water, but these non-metals are very much reactive with the air. So just for example, phosphorus. Phosphorus is a, you can see, when, for example, phosphorus catches fire when exposed to air. When phosphorus is taken out and kept in open environment, and under the normal temperature, on the normal room temperature, it catches fire by its own. That means its ignition temperature is very low, and as soon as it comes in contact with the air, it starts burning. So phosphorus catches fire when exposed to air, and thus that's why phosphorus is stored under water or kerosene oil, so that it might not reach its ignition temperature, and such non-metal like phosphorus could not react with air, so it is kept dipped under water or kerosene oil or paraffin oil. So student, here just now I have told you about the non-metal. Mostly non-metal doesn't react with water. There is no any reaction with water, but a non-metal naming phosphorus reacts very vigorously when it comes in contact with air, because a normal room temperature, under normal room temperature, it receives its ignition temperature and it catches fire in it. So next student, reactions of metal with acid. Student, my third topic is reaction of metal with acid. Metal react with dilute acid to form metal salt and hydrogen gas. Metal reacts with dilute acid. I have already told you in the previous class there are two types of acid, concentric acid and dilute acid. The acid that contains large amount of water in it is called dilute acid, and acid which contains less water in it is called concentric acid. So the acid, just like metal, react with dilute acid to forms metal salt and hydrogen gas. So metal reacts with dilute acid to form metal salt and hydrogen gas. Just for example, you can see magnesium when react with HCl. Magnesium when react with HCl, it forms magnesium chloride, and at the same moment hydrogen gas is released. So you can see here, this is a magnesium metal and it reacts with the dilute hydrochloric acid, and this is a metal when react with dilute hydrochloric acid, it forms salt, magnesium chloride. Magnesium chloride is a salt, and at the same moment a gas is released, that is hydrogen gas is released. So what we have seen here, that when a metal reacts with dilute acid, it forms salt, that is magnesium chloride, and hydrogen gas is released. So this topic of when a metal, what happened when a metal react with dilute acid. So when a metal react with dilute acid, salt is formed along with that metal and hydrogen gas is released. So just example I have given you of the magnesium metal, when react with hydrochloric acid it form magnesium chloride and hydrogen gas. And whenever hydrogen gas releases, it proves that this is hydrogen gas. If you will bring, what is the proof that the gas which is evolving coming out is hydrogen gas? Just burn a matchstick and bring it near to that evolving gas. If that gas start giving a popping noise, that means it is confirmed that the gas which is releasing is hydrogen gas. Now just for example, aluminium and zinc is also a metal. When react with hydrochloric acid, it forms the metal chloride and hydrogen gas. Means metal chloride means salt and hydrogen gas. Just for example, aluminium and HCl when react with, it form aluminium chloride, Al2, AlCl3 and hydrogen gas is released at the same moment. Just for example, so you can see here aluminium is a metal. When react with dilute hydrochloric acid, it forms aluminium chloride, that is a salt, and at the same moment hydrogen gas is released. So you must keep in mind, whenever a metal reacts with acid, it forms metallic salt and at the same moment hydrogen gas is released. So by the help of these two these two examples, I have just explained. It's like before it I have explained about the sodium, and now I have explained about the aluminium. When react with HCl, it forms the aluminium chloride and hydrogen gas is released. By two examples, I have just clarified that when a metal reacts with acid, it forms salt and hydrogen gas is released. Okay, student. Now, my further next topic, which I am going to explain you about the reaction of non-metals with acid. This was the reactions of metal with acid. This topic is about the metal with acid. Now, my next topic is reactions of non-metal with acid. What happens when a non-metal is reacted with acid? So dear student, generally, let me clear, generally non-metals do not react with acid. Generally non-metals do not react with dilute acid. However, then also sulfur react with hot. Just now what I have told you, generally non-metals do not react with dilute acid, but there is no reactions of any non-metal with dilute acid. But sulfur is such non-metal that could get reacted with concentric nitric acid to form sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water. That means when a non-metal reacts with not dilute but concentric acid, it forms few gases and water. Just as example, sulfur when gets react with nitric acid, it forms sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water. So when sulfur gets react with nitric acid, it forms sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water. Okay student, 4 molecules. So because here the hydrogen is 4 molecules. So here you can see sulfur is a non-metal. When it reacted with a nitric acid, concentric nitric acid, it forms sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water. So you must keep in mind that student that non-metal, especially non-metal, doesn't react with the dilute acid. Few non-metals like sulfur, it reacts with concentric acid to forms various types of gases and water. Okay, just for example, sulfur when reacts with the nitric acid, it forms sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide and water is released. So student, in my next video I will explain you about the reactions of metal with bases. Till then, up to what I have explained you today, you must listen the video carefully student and try to understand it. And whatever the task provided from here, you must do it in your copy. Thank you. Have a nice day student.